Okay, here we go. I think we're recording. Hey, perfect. Hey, welcome, Carolyn. This is great to see you here. And I've got like a little show and tell for you to begin with.
Okay.
And I got your questions, etc.
Yep.
And I have a good foundation of where you are and where you want to go.
Yep.
And I want to suggest a path between the two, I guess. And
Okay.
to begin with, I really want to give you some detailed knowledge questions that, should this be the last time we talk together, you can take away with you right now and use it for your own goodness. It's
Yep.
really the basis of what I would be teaching in the PCM6 part of the training. And I guess for anybody that's unfamiliar, let me show this device if I can get it to come up. Clone. Nothing shared. There we go. So just a little background on myself, Carolyn. I've been like in
Yep.
this scanner field since 203, I think it was, or 204, I'm not sure. And the rebel that I am really challenges how I see things. And the engineer background that I have with General Electric and other companies really supports, or has given me the wherewithals and the confidence to really look at and examine systems and tune them.
Yep.
And when it came to working with sound, which maybe you've come across my work with sound, but
Yep.
that was, and then later into the electrical medicines, the sound medicines actually brought a whole different way of looking at it.
Yep.
And looking at energy and how to heal and how to really get engaged with a vision for yourself and for others. And really, everything boils down to, are you in a depleted state or are you at the 100%, right?
Mm.
And on this electrical medicine component, and I'm just going to hold up this device here. It has an electrodes on it. Let's see if I can get that right. There we go.
Yep.
It's sort of focusing. And the trickle of current between these electrodes, as maybe you know, is what is stimulating where we put the device and bringing it up to full charge.
Mm.
And really, that's as simple as it is. The one way of thinking about it, of course, it's a rabbit hole when you look at 20 years of exploring, hey, what the ... is going on here.
Mm.
So I did a long form, a longitudinal study for about 2 years, really looking at what it was with the frequencies, and you can see on the lower graph, the green one, the amplitude and the waveform, and what it was about that was actually doing what it was. And if you compare it to a multifunctional device like the one I'm showing you here, or any
Yep.
of these ones, right, that
Yep.
basically are an evolution of the scanner technology.
Yep.
And if we look at that 1998 model there, that was the proton, that was the type of unit that they used in the clinical studies.
Yep.
And I don't know if you've come across that paper, but it's really important. It's like,
Yeah, I have. Yep.
18,255 people, ... right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the average, I think it was an 88.25% cure rates across all of the disease groups. And the reason, and the bottom reason, is this: you're bringing everything back in the cellular and subcellular components and the
Mm.
interstitial fluids and all of the different components in the body. You're bringing that charge back on full. So what are some of the results you get? A whole bunch of stuff. I mean, it's literally as simple as when things have the electrical potential, like the flat battery on your phone or whatever it is, right? You have to plug it in and get it charged.
Yeah.
And when we do that, things like this, which would seem to be miraculous, are actual results. If you look at this burn healing progression, which is probably the most traumatic one on there, you can see the 3rd degree blistering, day 1, day 6, the blistering's gone. It's skinned over, as it were. It's largely healed over. And by day 12, when I measured the guy in the marketplace and did this photograph there, that's what was left of the scar. Nothing. Now, the reason for that, this is right? So if you get that you can get what is potential here and what can be said that can be done and what, disclaimers galore, blah, blah, right? I'm not a medical blah, blah. I'm not a medical professional. I never would be, never have chosen to be, although back when I was a kid, I wanted to be a doctor. But I saw through what was happening. And so I chose another route. That aside, I have worked with so many people over I guess it's like 20 plus years, right? That I'm really confident in what can be achieved with the proper understanding that this is all you need to really understand. That's as simple as it gets. Now, there are different techniques, right, in order to get it. And with this, we're talking about in quadrant 1, we're actually talking about connecting the vagus nerve back into the etheric. And when that happens, it's connecting into the energy fields around you. And when that happens, then the whole parasympathetics are reset. In other words, when in our gut, which is where the vagus nerve goes to largely, but also the heart and the lungs, it's like an aerial, it's like a root system. So that's one of them. Phenomenal. I mean, it's like 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. In about a minute, doing 5 seconds on each side, I can straighten out all of the cervicals from chronic whiplash, right, at the same time. And, people that come to me, they've got tears rolling down their face. And so that's the sort of thing that you would be learning hands-on with me, but it's not in the basic training. But you can look this up, Little Wings, you can find it on the internet. So maybe you've seen it already.
Yes, I have. Yep.
Okay, cool. The goggles that come with it are great, but they're not as useful as, and I don't have the slide for it, but as the acupuncture probe, or the pencil probe, I like to call it, and the pad set. And I don't know if you have both of those, but those are really make the long-term application really doable.
Yeah.
The next flavor, as it were, is that where you're sitting, or where the cells are, or where the skin is sitting on that scale of discharged to fully charged, when you brush over that area, the skin makes different sounds to itself, and you probably heard it. And when there's a blockage, it feels like sticky when you're moving it across. And you could think, well, it's because it's more humid today, or because the skin is damper, because I've been, exercising, whatever, just come in from the outside hot into the cool. The skin does get changed electrically by how damp it is, obviously. But this is more than that. It's because the cells literally are trying to soak in the electricity. Now, I'm not using the word electrons for which you would commonly use, because electrons imply a state that's within quantum physics, for instance, within electrical engineering, within, microcurrent application, ... etc. But it's the electricity that's coming in that's actually forming out of the ether, or your energy field, or however you want to call it. You could call it spirit. And that's the real connection that you're making. So there's a histamine response, there's an increased blood flow as it flushes out that area.
Mm.
So back to this depleted, the energized, I think we got that part of it. And how do we control and balance and bring into homeostasis the work that we've been doing is through this facial nerve mapping. And because it directly, that image is there is actually wrong. Those 5-6 points are actually going into the brain stem. And the brain stem is the main bus between the computer, say, to speak, and the rest of the body. So it's very important to have that brain stem balanced, which is why in the classical training, they teach you to do these 6 points. And so there's ways of anchoring the effect and also of monitoring the anchoring effect so that you can get longitudinal studies with your family just by doing this process and keeping just the data as you do it. So I've done, with some clients, I've done like 9 months. One of them, I did a 2-year study on myself before I actually went live with it to really understand what it was that was going off and up and down and why things were shifting in the brain stem electrically, et cetera, et cetera. But suffice to say is that kind of like in your computer or in the car or whatever it is, there are bus pathways of information that are distributing from the engine to the sensors to the computer, blah, blah, or in the body from different organs and different places in there too. And what's so neat about this is that the cell chemistry literally shifts. What I mean by that is that the because the voltage is available in the cell to do what it needs to do naturally, then it can flush out the toxins, etc. But it also creates this, it's an epidergic effect. It's the release of neuropeptides from the C fibers, the long C fibers. And that provides the peptide building blocks that different hormones, different tissues can all be built out of. So these endorphins, for instance, et cetera, et cetera. So this all this complex symphony of how the body is being orchestrated with the extra charge. If you're feeling down and you go and do some exercise and you feel like really connected again, it's that sort of connection that's happening, or that sort of feeling that's happening.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to explain at a deep level what's going on in here. So this journey with David was kind of like indicative of, he was an ex-football player, one of the NBA stars, and he started to get injuries, had multiple back injuries and operations and blah, blah, blah. And he just used the very simple device, which actually is still my go-to device, which is this one. And he used just this 2-speed device, which is what we used in that longitudinal study, because it gave me a different way of looking at how things were being taught versus what I was discovering about what was actually going on. And if you go into the whole SCANA, DENAS, ENOT, LET, etc. Training programs, they barely touch on the depth that I've just, they don't touch on the depth of what I've just shared with you in the last 14 minutes. And so his story was quite remarkable because it really helped me to substantiate what I thought was going on, because it appeared to me that every SCANA modification, like we were looking at earlier, the DENAS history here, that it was more bells and whistles that the salespeople could use, like, oh, we got this extra frequency on that. Oh, we got this extra widget. It's like they do that with cars as well, right? Everything, your home appliances, your phone, everything, right? It's like this upsell, upsell, upsell.
Yeah.
And so I was yeah, let me see if I pull this site up. No, I was going to pull this other site up. But anyway, what happened? Let's go back to Dave. What happened to enough of the urine therapy? That's another discussion. And what happened with David was that he was so traumatized because his whole quote immune system, which is basically an electrical system and it's not an immune system, the whole system was so depleted that he was in major, touch me, I'm in major pain, kind of like shingles, pain all the time. And within weeks, I mean, in the first week, he shifted, and within weeks, he was up and around. But he was using it a lot, 25 hours a week. And I told him what to do. We did blah, 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 blah. He had a keen sense on, a keen scientific sense on what he was doing to his body to maintain his position where he was, although it was in bed with major chronic acute, well, it's chronic, but touch me, I'm in pain. And trust me, I've had shingles since. I know what he's talking about now. It ain't easy. And so anyway, he got out bedridden 10 years and he was walking 40 minutes. And later on, he regained his strength and mobility, et cetera, et cetera. So that was, and there were many others, as you'll see on the page when maybe you saw it earlier. So I really wanted to sort of give you that basis, to give you the scope of what it would take. And this is more answering your first question, which I think was a text, if I remember right. And I'm just going to go to that just briefly to make sure I'm addressing those issues. As you found out, the form isn't working on the site. So the objective, blah, blah. Okay, so we got lower back pain, and your kids, the injury thing, which we kind of looked at, better health for me and my family, and to help others, and also animals, particularly horses. So you have horses?
Yep.
All right. Beautiful. How many?
2.
Oh, you lucky girl.
Yes, they're beautiful.
Yeah. I had a pony when I was a kid. She was my best friend.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah. So, that takes time to cover all of those topics.
Yeah.
Because each one has like a little, as the system begins to get back onto voltage, different symptoms emerge in that healing process, right? So what I've been doing with my clients is basically coaching them through those strategies and the way of looking at this. And as you're interested in that long-term thing, longer term application, horses and animals and other stuff that I can share with you. I mean, there's a lot. It's really, it's really about a lifestyle change, right?
Yeah.
And the way that to support that is essentially the understanding that, hey, when the system is depleted, you need to charge it up. We all know that fundamentally. What we don't get is probably the bridge between what these little devices can do and how to do it to get that energized state. It sounds like, hey, how can this be true, right? And so I've tried to give you, as much as I can around what is potentially available working with me. And then I think I've basically answered. Let me just check that. Okay, next maybe. No, it's not that next. It's this next. So let's see if this website comes up. I'm not sure if it does. It should load automatically. But essentially, I can probably do a screen share if it doesn't. Load up. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So what I was covering here was, I have an online version of the PCM6 training, which is in the members area. And this is what we would be covering, all of those different settings in the 24 plus or whatever the device you have. Some I think have more than 24 now. And how to look at it and what it is that, the allergy program and why is, because on the device, as you've seen, you pull up a specific, let's see if I can get to the right page here. I'm scrolling through to therapy. No, scrolling through here to examples. Yeah. So when I press on back, not on this device, but on your device, I don't have the PCM6. It shows you exactly where to place the device or to place the pads. And with the back pain stuff, get the pads because it is long-term application. And so every one of these on the way down, the dystonia program is really interesting because modern medicine doesn't talk about dystonia. The better you understand dystonia and go and research, the more that you'll appreciate what's really going on there. The bloating, basically, electricity acts as an antioxidant. And I need not say anything more. But if you can get that, antioxidants are literally providing what you would call electrons to fire up that mineral biomolecule connection of the enzymes. You've always got some mineral involved, which gives the spark, and then the biological interface that is connecting into, say, a hormone is firing that electricity into there. So with essentially all of these, like we were looking at earlier on, there's this intricate pathways that the electricity is moving into the body, is connecting into the body. And yeah, so I think that's it, aside from, asking, seeing what questions that you have. And let's see.
Yeah, well, I was I was looking at the silver and the bronze. What do you recommend? Which one do you recommend getting? With the training from you, would that be the gold?
Yeah, that would be the gold, because it would be, it's a sort of one-on-one coaching. Not sort of, that's basic. I hold your hand through the next 3 months. Yeah, we can extend it to 6 months.
Yeah. And can I ask you prices for all that now, or because I couldn't. Anyway, I've been looking at the website, so I can do that myself. I can find out that. But yeah, no, I just wanted to know which level to get.
Right. Essentially what I've shared with you is what you really need to grasp. Right. It's 60, say 2/3 of what you really, really need to understand.
Yep.
At that basic level of, having slides on the screen or reading that article, that blog post. Obviously, it sounds like you guys got a, healthy lifestyle. Congratulations. The long-term support that I could give you with, like, helping you with the animals, helping you with other people,
Yeah.
and how to approach that.
Mm.
Okay, you would have had a lot of experience with your husband, yourself, and your kids by that stage anyway, so it would be an
Yeah.
easy bridge to do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, there's definitely session procedures that you need to follow,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is different from what I'd be teaching you at the lower levels. I don't know. It really is a matter of price. I mean, I'm not inexpensive, right?
Yes.
And at my age, I'm just not out to just like go make a buck, but I'm also about getting a value for the value that I provide.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably on a 10 to
Definitely.
1 scale, sort of a thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And which is fair, I think. And I do a lot of stuff for free. I think you signed up for the newsletter. I mean, for the
Yes.
first chapter, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I saw you coming through with that. Great, thank you. And every week I'll be sending out an email, my Sunday briefing, and on
Yep.
Facebook I do a Monday morning. What do I call it? Aloha Monday Warriors
Mm-hmm.
at the Ageless Warriors Alliance group, and you're welcome to join in there. It's free.
Yep.
The eBody Fusion group that I see that you wanted to come in on, that is
Yep.
dormant at the moment, so I'm not going to,
Oh,
there's no
okay.
point in,
Yep.
no point in going in there yet.
Yep.
You see, the whole market has shifted so much after COVID that,
Yeah.
people are now just like coming out going like, okay, this is for real. We have a huge problem.
Mm.
And it's not going to go away. We better just like grind in and learn what we can and do what we can to support the longevity of our families.
Mm.
And the DENAS or the electroculture or the electromedicine, electrotherapy is one of the ways.
Yeah.
Fasting is huge, even more
Yeah.
important.
I do a bit of fasting,
Nice.
but
How
I
how
liked
many
that
are
slide. I liked that slide that you showed because a main reason why I'm very interested in this as well is because I've always got a flat battery. I've never got any energy. I'm always tired.
Yeah, God bless you.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, no. How long can you fast for?
I've gone 72 hours
Oh, good.
before. Yeah.
Keep it up.
Yeah. It's good.
And during the normal days, how long are you fasting?
Well, I'm not very strict at the moment, but I won't have breakfast. Yeah, I probably eat around maybe 2, 3 o'clock, and then I try not to eat anything after that.
So you're one meal a day.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's great maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do the 3-day, 4-day fast once every month, and then I don't stick to one meal a day, but at times during the month I will have a one meal a day period, or maybe
Yeah.
I'll do a 1 or 2 day fast mid-month.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of difference.
It does. Yeah.
So I want to leave this with you, and as I said, I can really support you in achieving all of those goals. I know it.
Yeah.
And it would be a quick way for you to get in there, right?
Yeah.
The problem is, and I'm not saying this in terms of like a sales thing, but it is, blah blah. Um, I believe what I'm saying is authentic,
Yeah.
and I think you might agree. A lot of people
Yes.
would. Is that we've got so many options out there, we don't know which ones to go for,
Yes.
and that is the issue across the board, and definitely they have been allowing so many options to come along, and fasting, fortunately, in the last, decade has really grown exponentially in terms of number of papers that are being written on it, et cetera, medical papers. And it's really enlightening to see that, but at the same time, we know there's another agenda going on. And I think for my own and my advice to everybody is, like you're already doing, and congratulations, that's the big hurdle that I have people coming in for coaching with me, is having the clarity that the fasting gives, because it makes the training and the teaching and the absorbing and the questions that much more lucid. And that's a huge advantage. I'll give you 10% off for that. Yeah, so let's finish it out here. And what I want you to do is consider what this is, and we can take it to the next stage in terms of what it would cost you, and a time for you to sort of really put it to sleep, right? And I'll send you a link to the video, and you can take a look at that again and take it from there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Before we jump off, is there any question that you might have?
No, not at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, well, all the best to you, Carolyn, and really thank you for reaching out. And I trust you found what I have to say, supportive of where your vision is taking you.
Yeah,
and,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think that, I've got a lot on my plate too, right? There's I'm finishing up the book and doing the PR for that, and that's all very exciting, and it's actually allowed me a different venue to understand how my body was responding to the high altitude hikes that I did up Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea here. And so that's all built into that. But at the same time, it's a lot about, the telluric forces in the earth, the cosmic energies that are available for us at that sort of mainstream physics level. And what really is happening with all of science, is it's been butchered. And so, the engineer in me is developing different ways of helping people understand, how to read, a medical paper, for instance, or how to read the copy of an ad that's come out that says that the supporting evidence in such a medical paper is actually supporting evidence versus being cherry picked, which the salespeople do, et cetera, et cetera. So, there's a lot of that sort of knowledge. And of course, I've worked with, gold medalist coaches, high ranking Navy people, really high ranking Navy people with all sorts of toxicity. People like David, who really were foundational to my leaping forward and staying with this whole system, because it really helped me to understand that things were actually making sense, not only on paper, but helped me investigate at a totally different level what was going on, which has led me to where I am today, talking with you. So, mahalo, sister. Mahalo.
Thank you, Benji.
Yeah, mahalo in Hawaiian means I see the spirit in you.
Yep.
Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Aloha.
Bye.